So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab.
He is not wrong. He is not wrong.
All right,
John.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So last night, something kind of magical happened on CBS. Yeah, I know Stephen Colbert's show is terrible. And really, he's just bad at this whole comedying thing. He used to be good when he was on Comedy Central and he was playing Bill O'Reilly. Then he lost his main character. And basically, since then, he's been in competition with Jimmy Kimmel for the title of Pope of Wokedom. One is the Pope and one is the anti-Pope. But in any case, he's not been good at his job for a while because he's too busy bootlicking the Democrats. Well, Jon Stewart, who was the predecessor to Trevor Noah, and Jon Stewart, you have to say, I disagreed with him a lot of the time. I thought he was wrong on about 85% of issues, but actually was a talented guy. Jon Stewart guested on Stephen Colbert, and he proceeded to spend like 8 minutes delving into the lab leak theory with regard to coronavirus. And dude is spot on. And you can see Stephen Colbert is super annoyed and also very confused. And he can't believe that Jon Stewart is lending credibility to this evil Trumpian talking point. Here is Jon Stewart going off.
I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Okay, and you can see that Colbert is kind of annoyed by this. At one point, he asks Jon Stewart, do you work for Ron Johnson now? Because it's become such a ridiculous talking point on the left that the Wuhan lab leak theory had to be some sort of crazy Trumpian conspiracy theory, that here is Jon Stewart laying out some fairly basic logic, and Colbert just can't handle it.
Oh my God. If there was evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do we do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan novel respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask the scientists, they're like, how did this... So wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle.
He is not wrong. He is not wrong. It turns out there has yet to be a bat in the wild identified with COVID-19. You may have noticed. And he didn't stop there. He went on like this for like 8 minutes. More Jon Stewart.
Listen to this.
Wait a second.
All right.
John.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
Yep. Now, that fairly compelling logic has been used by, everybody who's proponents of the Wuhan lab leak theory for a year. If you're Jon Stewart, it's fine. If you were somebody on Facebook who said it, or if you were Senator Tom Cotton who said it, then you were very, very bad. You're very bad. So, will Jon Stewart be kicked out of the social graces hall for the Democratic Party? Of course not. Of course not. But it does make for some rather uncomfortable moments. And frankly, the humor here is not just Jon Stewart saying things that are pretty obviously true. It is also the utter level of sheer discomfort experienced by both the audience and Stephen Colbert in the middle of this rant. It really is amazing. Says Mediaite, Colbert acknowledged that health officials say the matter requires more investigation, though he and Stewart went back and forth over the theory's merits. Colbert said, how long have you worked for Senator Ron Johnson? And Stewart said, this isn't a conspiracy. This is the problem with science. Science is incredible, but they don't know when to stop. Okay, again, the fact that Colbert had to look for a reason to slap back here, as opposed to just laughing, just demonstrates that, once again, Colbert, so much of the late night crew, they're run by the Democratic Party. It's amazing. These people are so bad at this, the folks on the left and in the media, they are so bad at this that they're going to usher Republicans back into power. And they might usher Trump back into power because of all of this. If they make it the hill that they die on, that China is wonderful and definitely didn't create this lab leak, if the hill that they die on is that Donald Trump was terrible on China, but we have to be really conciliatory toward China, man, go for it. Really enjoy Stephen Colbert. Truly.